What's up, everyone? Welcome to this day in Philly sports history for December 2nd, 2023. I'm your host, Jim Montgomery. We've got a big show here for Saturday, but before we get into it, a couple quick housekeeping things. Be sure to check out the latest Back to the Future. We did a look at Eric Lindros's career as a Flyer. That is available wherever you get your podcast, as well as on YouTube. That's Back to the Future with a PH. Where, again, took a deep dive into Eric Lindros's career, so be sure to check that out on Saturday. Recapping yesterday's question of the day, I asked which of Andy Reid's 4 NFC Championship game lost teams were the best, and it was almost near unanimous, the 2002 team. It's hard to disagree with that. That was the Tampa Bay year, last season at the Vet. There's no doubt in my mind they would have gone out to, I believe that Super Bowl was in San Diego, because I remember being in the stadium and it said, from here you can kind of see San Diego. There's no doubt in my mind, though, that they would have beat the Raiders in the Super Bowl that year. However, just was not meant to be. I do think there's a good case to be made for that 2008 team, even though they were not the best record-wise. I think offensively, they were hot at that time, so it would have been a good matchup against the Steelers. But I do think it's a 2002 team is the way to go from that. So thank you for everyone who participated in that. Continuing our gift and food drive, like I said, the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. There right now, the big push is for those gift cards. I'm going to take the kids after basketball today, and we're going to go buy their gift card so they can donate. But be sure to get $25 gift card to Target, Walmart, or Amazon. Any little bit helps. Help those kids have a Christmas and just give back. So looking forward to that. The food drive, all of the information is posted on my social media. If you're following along with the reverse advent, today's item is granola bars. When I pick up the groceries today from the grocery store, we're going to put ours into our donation bag. So whatever you can, again, if you wanted to focus on one product, that's fine. If you want to do the reverse advent like we are, everything will be done by the 14th, and then you can give your donation on the 15th. But granola bars is today's gift, or today's food. Be sure to get your gift cards, whatever you can to help them out. And again, after talking with them last week, they will take cash donations if that's easier for you. But do whatever you can to help them out, help the people in our community, and just a great organization, and I'm really looking forward to the gift card portion of this to help those kids have a good holiday season. Continuing our 25 days of kindness leading into the holiday. Today is a very simple one too, and you see it all the time. If you're walking and you see a piece of trash, just pick it up and put it in the trash can. Or better yet, just don't litter, just wait for the trash can. I don't know. To me, that's just something easy to do. It was nice. I gave out a couple compliments yesterday. It made me feel good. So as I'm out and about and I see trash, just pick it up. It's very easy to do. I don't know if you're walking your dog. A lot of times, especially it rained yesterday, it was a little windy. Like you see like the newspaper flyers or whatever, just pick it up. So that is today's act of kindness, is picking up some trash. All right, Big 5 Classic this afternoon and this evening at the Wells Fargo Center. Triple header starting off with Drexel versus Villanova, then LaSalle versus Penn, and then my Temple Owls take on the St. Joe's Hawks for the championship. Excuse me. And the streak continues. I apologize for that. But it should be fun. I'm anxious to see what turnout is for this. There probably will not be a ton of Villanova people there because I believe the football team is also playing a playoff game around the same time. But I know they're trying something different. It's been fun. Following along, that Temple-LaSalle game was actually pretty good the other night. So hopefully they get a decent enough crowd down there, and it's something we can continue and hopefully make Big 5 basketball more entertaining and get back to the roots and what it was supposed to be back in the day. So looking forward to that. Tough loss for the Sixers last night, 125-119, but it was gritty. They played decent enough and held their own without Jo and Tyrese, both who were feeling under the weather still. Patrick Beverley was just outstanding. and they were hanging with them. And like I like the way Nick Nurse had them playing, and Tobias just went cold in the second half there, and that really kind of proved to be the difference. They were scrappy. They got under Jason Tatum's skin. He got ejected, so it's definitely a fun game to watch. Disappointing end, but they showed me a lot, and the secondary guys got some decent playing time and some experience. Mo Bamba specifically looked good, so I guess if there's such thing as a good loss, especially to a division and hated rival, I guess you could say that was more of a moral victory for the Sixers last night. But again, they still lost. So they're off now until Wednesday of next week. Hopefully Jo and Tyrese will be back for that, as well as Kelly Oubre, and then we can kind of get some momentum going into the new year. Excuse me. This cold is just absolutely killing me. Flyers in action tonight out in Pittsburgh. Should be a good one. We do have a Phillies update. We talked about this the other day when they introduced the cream color uniforms. Well, Nike has a 4-in-1 rule. Basically, they will do 4 jerseys, 5 if one of them is the City Connect jersey. So Phillies are getting the City Connect jerseys for next year. So the red getaway day road jerseys are going away. So they're going to roll out the red pinstripes, the cream color, the powder blues, the road grays, and then whatever the City Connect is. So I'm anxious to see what they look like. The Sixers, I feel, have done a nice job the past few years getting their City Connect jerseys right. So it should be. I'm really excited to see what Nike comes up with for the Phillies for these jerseys. But we just talked about that, and there's the update on that. No reveal has been done yet, but that should be coming later this offseason. All right. So I should have known this yesterday when I talked about it, and I knew the shirt, and I saw it. Philly Goat has a Philadelphia Phil and Phyllis inspired shirt. It's the Filthy Phyllis shirt on their website. Go check it out. These guys never cease to amaze me with what they have. I got an email from Ryan, be like, hey, we have a shirt for that. And of course they do, because they have a shirt for everything. That's how great this company is. Just put in my order yesterday. I got my ugly Christmas sweater. I got the Christmas Story Eagles leg with the Kelly green. Super, super excited for that. My son wanted a Mega John hoodie, so I got him one of that. Of course, my daughter wanted one, so I got her one of the Fanatic shirts. So just randomly, and that's how easy it is. Had it in, put the order in. I'll have my ugly Christmas sweater in time to wear on Christmas. They have a countdown on their website right now. It's right around 8 days or so to get your orders in for guaranteed delivery by Christmas. But again, I should have known. That's just what these guys are. They had a Filthy Phyllis shirt. Phyllis was all grown up with the hot pants on. You know, the hot pants patrol from back in the 70s. If you don't know about it, look it up. Something they probably could never get away with today. But think Hooters, but in the ballpark. And not Hooters, but hot pants. But go to phillygoat.com, use the promo code Jim Montgomery, 10% off of your order. There still is time to get your orders in time for Christmas, but be sure to use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off. It helps me out, helps the podcast out, helps you out, helps Philly Goat out. Everybody walks away happy, and get your Filthy Phyllis shirt because it's amazing. And get an ugly sweater while you're at it too. But make sure you use that promo code Jim Montgomery for 10% off of your order. I cannot wait for that ugly sweater to come. All right. So Eagles news. The Christmas album was great. It's available on Spotify. If I had a record player, I still might buy one of the albums just to have, because it's just a cool collector's piece, and maybe it'll inspire me to get a record player. But it's a great album, great Christmas, and listen to both back to back. It's a good time. So be sure to help out Chop with that if you want to buy the Christmas album from them. Zach Ertz cleared waivers, and the only reason I'm bringing that up is because a lot of people have been clamoring for the Eagles to bring Zach Ertz back. I wouldn't hate it, but I just don't know. I think we might be overvaluing. I mean, I guess if the price is right, he definitely could serve and fit a need for this team. So we'll see how it goes. But if I had to put money on it, I bet he goes to Baltimore, where he could probably end up being the starter. Still close to the Philly area, but we'll see. Maybe they'll surprise us. Still no word or not really any leans either about where Shaq Leonard is going to end up. I did not hear anything yet this morning, but I'll continue to keep an eye out and as we get ready for tomorrow's preview. Deshaun Jackson kind of traveling around the area, different places, meeting fans and greeting fans. I'm really excited to see that. I like that. I like the fact that he's doing a farewell tour. He never should have left here in the first place, which still pisses me off, Chip. But he's a big fan of Jalen Hurts, and I don't know. I just feel like there's something big's going to happen tomorrow. But we'll get more into that as we go into our Eagles preview tomorrow. Dallas Goedert practiced in full yesterday. He's still listed as doubtful. Doesn't mean a no. He seemed more optimistic, I guess, than what the injury designation is. So we'll see. I don't know. I guess the thing we have going for us is this, for us, is not nearly as big of a game as it is for the 49ers because we have a multiple game lead. We're playing for the number 1 seed. They're coming in here looking for revenge and things like this. So I don't know if it's worth playing Dallas Goedert in a game that, quite frankly, doesn't mean as much to us as it does to the Niners, especially with the Cowboys on the docket coming up. But we'll see how it goes. He seemed very optimistic. Ultimately, I guess as long as he can medically get cleared and it's up to him, I feel like if it's up to him, he's going to play. Fletcher Cox was questionable and didn't practice yesterday. I have a feeling they kept him out, so he'll be ready for the game. He doesn't miss a lot of time, and my guess is that he'll play in this game, which would be a huge boost for the team. How much he plays, I don't know. But more on this game tomorrow. I'm starting to see it clearly, kind of have my vision about what's going to happen, and we'll get into that tomorrow. Be sure to check out my boys over at the Clashing Conferences podcast. That's available wherever you get your podcasts as well as on YouTube. It's an around-the-horn style look at the NFC East. Good guys over there, so be sure to check them out. All right, today we're going to go back to 1990, and on December 2nd, 1990, the Eagles lost to the Bills 30-23 up in Buffalo at the Old Rich Stadium. They fell behind early 24-0 in the first quarter. Scored 16 in the second on their own. And then the defense clamped down for the rest of the game, but it just wasn't enough. They just couldn't overcome, and this was when the Bills were in the midst of those 4 straight Super Bowls. But the big story here was Randall Cunningham, and in his career, there's so many of those breathtaking moments. Remember, he was the ultimate weapon, just one of my all-time favorite players. And you have the Carl Banks, the play where he kind of got hit and his legs got taken out and he still threw the touchdown to, I believe it was Jimmy Giles. He had to flip against the Giants into the end zone for the touchdown, the 91-yard punt, which actually also happened against the Giants. I think he played very well against the Giants in his career. But in this game against Buffalo, one of his greatest moments ever happened. The Eagles had the ball inside 2 minutes at their own 5. He dropped back into the end zone. The pocket started to collapse. He ducked. I don't know how he knew he was there. He ducked to avoid Bruce Smith, who's one of the greatest pass rushers ever to play the game. Literally, if you watch the video, YouTube it, and it's I don't know how he just knew he was there. He ducked, rolled out to his left, stopped, planted, threw a bomb to Fred Barnett, who jumped to catch the ball at the Buffalo's 46-yard line and then sprinted in for the touchdown. Randall threw that ball 60-plus yards in the air after just running around and almost nearly getting crushed by Bruce Smith. Stopped, threw it. Fred Barnett made an amazing catch. I'm telling you, watch this on YouTube. It's an amazing. To me, Randall Cunningham is one of the greatest, most underrated. And yes, it's hard to, I know it's crazy to think that he was underrated. I personally feel he should be in the Hall of Fame as someone who revolutionized the game. If you're checking back on the archives for Back to the Future, I did do an episode on this and whether or not Randall should be in the Hall of Fame, so be sure to check that out. But on this day, back in 1990, it was the Eagles losing to the Bills 30-23 up in Buffalo. But Randall made one of his many highlight reel worthy plays, a 95-yard bomb to Fred Barnett, where I still don't know how. It's like a sixth sense he had where he just knew Bruce Smith was there, ducked. Bruce Smith went right over him. He rolled out, stopped, boom. But I highly recommend looking at this play on YouTube. And then you're welcome for going down the rabbit hole of all the Randall Cunningham great plays, because I spent probably 45 minutes last night just going back through and just watching Randall be Randall. And he just was – that's where I'm coming with the whole underrated thing, which leads me to today's question of the day. Is Randall Cunningham a Hall of Famer? To me, numbers-wise, he's borderline, but you got to remember the era he played in. And to me – he is a Hall of Famer for revolutionizing the game. You don't have a Jalen Hurts. You don't have a Donovan McNabb. There's no Lamar Jackson. There's no Josh Allen. These mobile quarterbacks who run and do their thing and pass on top of it, they don't exist. There's no Michael Vick. A lot of those guys that I just mentioned are inspired by Mike Vick. Mike Vick was inspired by Randall Cunningham. You don't have that without Randall Cunningham. He was ahead of his time. If you put Randall Cunningham in the league now, he's the most dominant player ever. That's how good he was. And he had zero coaching on top of that. So the question of the day is Randall Cunningham a Hall of Famer? Social media, hit me up, Jimbo_Mont on Twitter as well as TikTok, Instagram at Philly Jimbo. Hit me up on Facebook, comment wherever you're watching or listening to this. But is Randall Cunningham a Hall of Famer? Let me know. All right. Time for today's Philly Sports Advent Calendar. And again, I wish I had like a Fred Norris with sound effects here. I could open the drawer. But today we open it up and there is Paul Arizin, small forward. He's a Philly native, went to Villanova. From Villanova, he was at Villanova, he was the 1950 College Player of the Year. And led the country in scoring that year, 25.3 points per game. He actually scored 100 points in one of those games, but it's not officially recognized because it was one of those scrimmage games against a junior college. After his career at Villanova, he was drafted by the Philadelphia Warriors number 1 overall in the 1950 NBA draft. He was their territorial pick. Back then, the NBA had, if a guy went to college or had ties to an area, you could use that pick to take him, so he stayed home because they were trying to grow the league back then. So Paul Arizin was drafted by the Philadelphia Warriors, number 1 overall in the 1950. Won Rookie of the Year. He was a 10-time All-Star. Was the MVP of the All-Star game in 1952. 3-time All-NBA First Team. 2-time scoring champion. He's on the 25th, 50th, and 75th anniversary All-NBA teams. He's known for his line drive jump shot. And again, if you're checking out Randall's plays, check out its footage is grainy, but see if you can check out some of the Paul Arizin jump shots. It was, I don't know how it was just a funky looking shot. He retired in 1962, even though he was still kind of had a few good years left because he didn't want to go out to San Francisco. That's when the Warriors went out there. But when he retired, he had the highest points per game average of anybody in NBA history with 21.9. Obviously, the league has progressed since then, so that number is not what it was back then. But at one point, he was the all-time leading points per game scorer in NBA history. After the Warriors moved to San Francisco, he played 3 years in the Eastern Professional Basketball League for the Camden Bullets, won a championship, and was one of the most dominant players there. He is in the Naismith Hall of Fame. He's in the College Basketball Hall of Fame. His number 11 is retired at Villanova. He is in the Philadelphia Sports Hall of Fame. He was a member of their charter class all the way back in 2004. And probably someone that most of you have never heard of. Paul Arizin, small forward for the Philadelphia Warriors, the Villanova Wildcats, and the Camden Bullets of the EPBL. But one of the greatest to ever play the game. And again, this is what this advent calendar is about. Probably someone you never really heard of. And it's probably only a matter of time before Philly Goat probably has a Philadelphia Warriors inspired shirt, if they don't already have it, because that's what they do, because that's how great that company is. But today's Philly Sports Advent Calendar gift to you is a little history lesson on Paul Arizin, one of the greatest to ever come out of Philadelphia. We talk a lot about Wilt Chamberlain and just how great he is on this podcast, and sometimes a guy like Paul Arizin, who definitely he wasn't the center, he wasn't the dominating big man, but he was pretty dominant when he played in the NBA and when he was at Villanova. So Paul Arizin, he passed away, I want to say maybe 7 years ago. No, 17 years ago. I want to say the early 2000s, but one of the greatest to ever come out of Philadelphia to do it. Paul Arizin, you are today's Philly Sports Advent Calendar gift. On this day back in 1990, the Eagles lost to the Bills, but Randall provided one of his many human highlight film plays, that 95-yard bomb to Fred Barnett. You're welcome once you go on YouTube and just go down that rabbit hole. But don't forget to vote on the question of the day. Should Randall Cunningham be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame? My vote is absolutely for just being a revolution and taking the game from where it was to where it is. He played at a time where he was the odd man out, and now he would be the dominant player in the NBA or NFL. So let me know, is Randall a Pro Football Hall of Famer? Good luck to my Temple Owls today as they look to win the Big 5 Classic. I'll be flipping back and forth through those games all day today. Good luck to the Flyers out in Pittsburgh tonight. Be sure to get your donations and food ready, your gift cards, whatever you can for the Maddie Ann Dixon Community Cupboard in Ambler. If you need more details or have any questions about it, feel free to reach out to me and I will answer them and help you out. I know some people have some deliveries coming today. People Amazoning food. I don't even know. I just made up a verb, Amazoning. But sending me food and donations through Amazon. Webster's. Get that in there. Amazoning. I like it. But I'll be sure to answer any questions you have. Be sure to answer the question of the day. Go to Philly Goat. I mean, it's an amazing. Ryan does a great job there. Get your Filthy Phyllis shirt because it's just funny. It's a great shirt. So go enjoy this Saturday. I don't know what the weather's supposed to be. I know it's supposed to be rainy tomorrow. Maybe we'll get a little break today, but we'll be inside. Kids start basketball today. They're excited. I'm excited. Everyone's excited. My Michigan Wolverines, I know it's not Philly related. They play for the Big Ten Championship tonight. Hopefully they score some points because Iowa's defense is pretty good. But go have a Saturday. This has been This Day in Philly Sports History. My name is Jim Montgomery. And until next time, I'll see you when I see you.